to review the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes.
Any amendments to those?
I do not have any.
Okay. I take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Bob, you're muted.
Second.
Awesome. Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Like I was just saying, before we officially started, that Cherry, and I'll be happy to get with you offline with regard to this, but I sent an email last night, but it was blocked by county because the attachments were too large. Just with regard to, I think that when the applicant files come in, if you would review the documents and could rename and sort those, then it would make the board review of documents a lot more efficient. So I'll share with you just what my suggestion would be with regard to how to sort them so that it, again, it's easy to go through, and I'm not open in 10 fire alarm class documents. Yep.
Perfect.
Okay. Well, I know we've got one guest applicant, so maybe we could go ahead and review his file first to make the most efficient use of his time. Would that work?
Yes.
That's fine with
Okay.
me.
Okay, cool. So I've got his file at least partially open here on my other screen. So I'll try and see if I can't share that for you. We got it?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, great. This is the letter that we sent after our review of his application. I'm apologizing, I'm going to mispronounce your name most likely, Zaguri. And his application from September 20th, 2023, and our determination at that time, and the reason for after review of your application and experience, the issue is that we require that your practical experience be gained while employed by a entity that's subject to the National Electrical Code, and the vast majority of the experience that you submitted was experience with Southwestern Bell, which as a utility is not covered by the NEC. And so this board has historically not found that that experience is within the definition of the practical experience required by the ordinance. And in reviewing my review, I didn't see anything in addition added to the file that would have shown other experience beyond that Southwestern Bell, AT&T, and then a little bit of experience from your current employer. Bob is our communications expert on this board, though, so I'll defer to you.
Yeah, you said it great, Emily. So I guess the applicant wants to be able to go over a little more, or can we give them advice on how to move forward? I guess the windup is that practical experience this isn't going to work.
Yeah, and I don't know if if we could unmute him and give an opportunity to talk, I don't know if there's other experience prior to the Southwestern Bell experience that maybe needs to be submitted, or if anything of that nature would exist.
So who can unmute him?
I
Oh,
can
yeah.
hear.
IT can. Rick, you're raising your hand.
Oh, there he goes.
Very observant of you. Can
Yeah.
you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I just wanted to point out, something that is helpful. It does have some years with AT&T who, have maintained a communication contractor's license for some years. So they could work on either side of the demarc point. That is in the file, it is in there. I think it showed maybe 4 years. It's up to you how to judge that, but they have maintained, actually, they've maintained multiple licenses for different, they broke the county up into regions, I think 2 or 3 regions. So they have had in the past 2 or 3 different license holders for those regions. But yeah, the Southwestern Bell won't be of any help, in my opinion. I just wanted to point that out.
So, yeah,
Okay.
the whole
So
time was with this. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So the whole time was doing the same job description. I understand that, at some point AT&T had, or Southwestern Bell had to change their name. But from 2009 on, it was the same job title, the same job duties. It's just my basically W-2 that switched. And when it comes to a true affidavit of my work experience with them being such a large corporation, their HR department is not here locally, so having someone sign an actual affidavit was my issue. So what they sent me to was an e-fax, basically verifying that I was employed from what day I was employed to my last working day with them. And then I basically went online and got the job description that way. Was the only real way I can get that information, because HR is not here locally and there's no way to really get that form filled out for you guys.
And can you tell me which of these I'm going to find the job description in?
It was with the paperwork that you guys have there, I'm not 100%. It was the new forms, the latest paperwork that I sent over. It was, I believe, the middle of October was when I resent over the paperwork right after I got the letter from you guys. Is when I resubmitted the e-fax verification and job description.
Okay. I apologize. It's going to take me a minute to try to find that document in here. I can read upside down, but that's not it.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I thought I had opened that before and it was not upside down, but let's see, application summary.
I know that
Obviously,
the
it's this
lady I was
employee
speaking to
data.
an email. Oh, there's
There we
e-fax.
go.
Yep.
This
That
it?
was
Okay.
Yes. I believe it was up. Yeah, right there is where it goes into the hire date from when I was employed with AT&T on.
Okay.
Yeah, so right there is the job title, and down just a little bit farther was my.
Technician.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand. I didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Premises technician. That was the job
correct.
title.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, great. So is there in hear a description of the duties of that job?
It was on that same email that I sent over that paperwork and along with the with the job duties that I found online from AT&T.
Okay. Okay. I apologize. It's just the. See, here's at the end. Ah, here it might be at the end. Let's. No.
Emily, this is
Okay.
Bob. I'm not seeing that
I'm
last
not
document.
either. Anything in addition, Bob?
Well, just the document that John was mentioning that gives the description from the website of what that premise technician does. That would be nice. That would be nice. Well, I mean, not nice. But we're going to need that. So I think you said you sent it in. I don't see it in this file. Is the only rub.
I'm going back to my sent files. Let's see.
Sorry if I'm giving everybody a headache by scrolling this so fast.
I'd like to know how you got this to scroll. When I opened these files up, every piece of paper, every document was in a separate PDF that you had to download separately.
Oh, these are all separate, but this appears to be one that has everything in it, and I just randomly opened it. So.
So yeah, it's when I
Um,
uploaded the files to the website. It wasn't actually a email that I sent.
Okay, I apologize. I'm not seeing it in the files that we have available to ourselves right here. Let me look at your driver's license real quick. I just want to see if maybe it's hidden behind something else, but I am not finding it.
John, is there something that you sent me separately that is not in here?
No, yeah, you informed me to go and upload it through the portal. So it was that Equifax there, and then along with basically a job description of what premise technicians with AT&T do.
This is again that same document.
John, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, my name is Rick Hill. I'm a secretary to the board. I don't have a vote on the board. I keep minutes and I do little odds and ends as might be necessary. I've also worked in the electrical inspection section for a number of years. And I wanted to mention, because you said something that I was a little confused by. You claim the work you do at AT&T is the same at Southwestern Bell that you did at Southwestern Bell. Southwestern Bell did not work on the customer side of the demarcation point. So while your job title might have been the same and the duties might have been the same, you did it on the utilities equipment, not on the customer's equipment. Is that not correct?
No, sir. This was all on the home side of the demarcation. I mean, we did work from the tap on the pole to the demarcation, but then also the premise technician worked from the demarc on in, fiber, copper, coax.
Then let me rephrase that. They didn't do it legally.
Okay.
Joan Berkman was their representative. She also hosted political forums for candidates running for office for some women's group. I forget the name. The county councilor, Joan Berkman, AT&T's lawyer, and one of their like level 2 supervisors came in and we had a nice long talk. And because we were writing violations for work they did without permits, and they said they didn't need a permit because they were a utility. And when we boiled it down, they were a utility, not subject to our rules and regulations as long as they stayed on the utility side of the demarcation point. Why that is important is because in my mind, what you did with Southwestern Bell would have largely never been inspected, not permitted. And if you did work on the customer side and we didn't know about it, that's neither here nor there. But there's no way that we could quantify that since they weren't actually licensed to do that work as AT&T was. It might seem like a small difference, but I wanted to point it out, John.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that. You know, what you were saying, I guess 2010 or so, 2011 is when it all got switched over, when they became licensed.
Uh, well, when AT&T became licensed,
Yes.
I don't have that in front of me, but it's
Okay.
been a number of years.
Yeah, because I mean, originally when I first started in 2009, for 1 year, I was working internally at a call center. And then 2010, I believe it was in August of 2010, is when I went out into the field. You know, so I don't know if that time frame is within that time. I'm not 100%. You know, but it was like 2010 in August up until last year, right around this time, November 28th, is when I actually left AT&T. So you know, I'm not 100% on that side. I was just only a little technician, so I don't know anything about their license and things like that.
And you're in business for is that correct?
I'm sorry, sir. What was that?
You're running your own business now, am I
I'm
correct?
currently not running my own business. I am actually it's a IT department, and we're starting an infrastructure side of in the IT for low voltage wiring.
All right. Thank you, John. I
Yes,
appreciate it.
sir. Absolutely. So I guess my next step would be to get you guys over the information of what a premise technician's job duties was or is.
Yeah, for AT&T, I think,
Okay.
based upon Rick's confirmation on the status of AT&T as a license holder, that if we had that description of work, it would be helpful in assessing whether your experience was applicable for that work. I don't know. I know we've got your W-2s, which we use in part to try to kind of work back to an hour verification and the Equifax report. So I think we could determine hours using those things after we got the experience information.
Okay. Okay, I can definitely get that taken care of.
Great.
Apologize.
Thanks. Does anybody thought? No, that's, you know, we're all dealing with a different way of uploading this information. So we don't know your side or our side. No idea. Bob, you have anything else you want to add? We need to unmute you again.
All right, I'm with you. I'm like an old man. It's embarrassing. So
You are.
will we have the 12,000 hours with AT&T pay stubs? So we don't have to deal with the AT&T versus Southwestern Bell and the licensing?
We've got, I need to look at those hours. We've got 19, 20, 21, 22. So, you know, just my rough numbers would tell me we've got at least 8,000, but I'm just guessing.
It'd be nice for John to understand that before he gets off the phone if there's going to be trouble.
No, I understand. Tom, I don't have your spreadsheet up right now because got the other one up, but
Tom's spreadsheet says 20,500, but I don't know whether Tom lumped Southwestern Bell and AT&T together.
That was taken from the document TL-EC-APP form, and it had Qualcomm LLC at 40 hours, but it had listed AT&T 20,500. That's where I got the 20,500.
Okay.
I didn't add up the.
that's why of both just based upon the number of years, both the AT&T and the Southwestern Bell hours.
But we're only going to be able to count the ones that have AT&T on.
We're only going to be able to count the AT&T hours, which are, hold on, I've pulled back up the employment report, see if I can kind of quickly figure.
Part of what's tricky, John, is we get on the the W-2s just have dollars, they don't have hours. So we're having to somewhat make a leap of logic to try to back
Okay.
into hours.
Yeah, I could tell you that there was no weeks of 40 with AT&T. That was one of the reasons why I was out of there, because they have tons of hours.
You get a report from
And-
do you get a report from the Communications Workers of America, the CWA?
I mean, I get a report,
Ah.
I get information from them.
That would be super helpful. If you were under CWA, they should be able to provide you with the hours on which your pay and benefits. And that would be super helpful, especially if you were working a lot of overtime, to give us a good hour count for your employment at AT&T.
Okay, so hour count. Okay, I will give them a call and find out how to get that information from them.
Yeah, that should be, at least based upon our experience with IBEW, that should be a fairly easy document for them to give you.
Awesome, awesome. I appreciate it.
Yep, and then that'll help a lot. But just to Bob's point, the threshold we're looking for is 12,000 hours. Now, since you left your employment with AT&T and you're with a new employer, and I don't know, I got your St. Louis City license. So if there's any additional hours that have been acquired since your first application, since it only has 40 hours listed for your current employer, I would submit that additional information as well.
Okay, yeah, because I mean the entire year this year, so up until from about this time last year is when I started working, which is primarily in Illinois.
So that hours that could make a difference here.
Awesome. I will get all that together, and then job description of premise technician.
Okay, can you guys check your email really quick before we let him go?
No, but thank you.
Okay, okay. I tried.
Carrie just sent something down from the internet. So no, it really, that's my opinion, but.
Okay.
Yeah, I would agree. We need John's deliverable.
Yeah.
Awesome, guys. Well, I really appreciate the help, and hopefully we'll get this handled promptly.
Okay, great. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Do we have any other attendees on the call that we want to make sure and, okay, cool. Figured we would route our agenda to put them towards the top. So, Sherry, where do you want to go next?
Your call. I have so many things opened up. I got to go back and find the spreadsheet now. I mean, do we want to just go in order? One.
I just put the spreadsheet in the order of the files that were sent.
Okay. I've got it up. And I'm gonna, unless there's like a document that somebody wants to look at, I'm gonna put Tom's spreadsheet up on the screen. And then anticipate that you guys can pull up the documents yourself, unless there's something we want to look at as a group, and then I'll pull that up. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. And this is the one that Tom sent over last night, revised. Okay, so Anthony Jones, Mr. Kamerman. Doesn't need a code class.
The problem I saw with that is that he only had one W-2 attached to that. And then also there were no affidavits attached to it.
Okay. Gotta have those.
So you'd have to, you have to decline it and just say, you know, respond to it appropriately.
Was that Anthony, Tom?
Yes, Anthony A. Jones.
Okay. And briefly, what was that he needs to do? I'm sorry.
Well, he only had one W-2 from 2020 but there were no affidavits of the employment places where they were not submitted with the hours and description of the work. And and if there were any there, you can, even if he had affidavits, they would have had it been notarized.
I think he might have believed since he had, what did he have? Some kind of a license from Kansas City that maybe we would care, but I guess he doesn't know we're not a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs, huh? Now that Taylor Swift is involved, we don't like them either.
Oh my God, I'm offended.
Boy, we're
I'm not a
really-
Swiftie.
really
I
getting
guess
nasty there.
our direction to him would be that he needs to submit his experience, including the affidavits, in order for us to evaluate his application.
Okay. Yeah, he's got a certificate for electrical contractor class 3, which means zip, as far as I know. And in Kansas, that could be a big deal. But I know what you want. We'll get it. I appreciate it.
All right. Let's see, Mr. Veerling.
Right. And I guess one of the things that I found on that, it was glaring, is that the code classes were from 2015 and 2016. Okay. And they were signed by Mike Smith and everything when he took the classes. The thing is, the question I had for Rick, how old do the classes are allowed to be?
2 years. Which one are you looking at now?
Anthony Veerland?
Oh,
Veerling.
Anthony Jones. We're still on him.
Not Anthony Jones, the next
Jones is-
Anthony.
Anthony's communication. He doesn't need a code class.
No, Anthony Veerling, the second Anthony.
Oh. Yeah, he did. He had no code class within the last 2 years. The city has already issued him a license, the same test that we give. I don't know that matters to you. He had a long hours report too, I think.
His-
Yeah,
his
he-
hour-
To hit
His
the
hours reports
experience
were from
level.
local 1.
Yeah, I think our direction would be, though, that he needs to submit a current code class in order to be licensed. I don't know if he was licensed previously, but I remember, remembering back to Bob Kingston, that, we required that he have an updated code class in order to have an active license, so.
Did you notice in his file, his hours report list contractors, but his W-2s were all from Washington U?
I noticed that, and that's what I didn't understand, how he technically he was an employee of Washington University, but all of his hours, local 1 report from licensed contractors and everything. So that's what I was going by, is for the local 1 report. That's a legal document and that. So, and he completed his apprenticeship, which was good and everything and that. I still don't understand why, but he has a W-2s from 2016 all the way up to 2022 and that.
Yeah, that does not make any sense whatsoever.
That'd be a good question to ask him.
Tom, what are you people doing down there at Washington University?
I haven't been there in 2 years. Last time I was there was last Christmas and everything for their a Christmas party there, and everybody was welcoming me back and wanting me to come back to work to teach and everything and that. After 40 years, it's time to hang it up.
Wait a minute, I'm getting close to that. Stop that.
Hold on, I'm gonna,
That'd be a good question to ask him about the W-2s and everything and that. But I was going primarily by the local one report.
Yeah,
oh, here's what it is.
um,
Been working for his last hours on the local one reporter from 2010. So he's been so it would appear that for the past, 6 years that he submitted W-2s for, he's been working for Washington U. But prior to that, he gained all of his experience with like contractors. And that's the 46,000 hours. So I don't think we have to ask the question. I think we just need an updated code class.
Okay,
Make sense?
yep.
Sounds fine.
Cool. So I guess he decided to go back into contracting. Okay. Let's see. We've already gone through John. Penny Smith. And Bob, let me know if you need me to put anything up on the screen. Doesn't need a code class. No education.
So basically, looks like Tom's just saying the affidavits are missing.
So again,
So
we
you-
don't have good description of work.
Yeah, description of work, so
He
looks like a
stated-
lot of it.
He
It's listed.
stated on some of the descriptions that 50% of the work description was project management. Now, one of the things that I think that Rick should be able to clarify on this is that even though he may be out on a job with that, have to do some management work out there, he could be a working foreman and everything in that, which he just works alongside everybody else. And he's a member of the union and everything and that. So not sure how to interpret that the way he's got it and everything. He's only got one W-2 attached to that file.
Yeah, the other thing we're gonna be looking into, it's another example of somebody that indicates fire alarm work in his history, and the communication license that we issue is for chapter 8 of the code. It does not include fire alarms. The test does not have fire alarms. We don't really deal with that. We need to check and see if Pro-V can carve us out a test or just a fire alarm, and I will try to get a change in the ordinance, which I'm 68, so it may not happen in my lifetime. But, and people should have the opportunity. Some of them have specialized doing fire alarms forever, and they think that our communication license is a low voltage license, and there is no such thing. It's for communications work. And as I always said, the term low voltage, medium voltage, high voltage, it really depends on your background as to what those terms mean. And Tom being an ex-Ameren person, what they would call low voltage, most people would be scared to death to work on them systems.
Yeah, low voltage was 4160 phase to phase 3-phase 4-wire.
Exactly. When I interview people for an inspector's job, when I ask them if they've ever worked on high voltage, they said, "Oh yeah, I've done a lot of 480 volt work." That's not, in the electrical world, that's not actually very high. So yeah,
So,
Kenny needs to verify hours, correct? Is that what you're saying? Or proof of
yeah,
hours?
so Bob, you want to add any color commentary onto what additional information we would want from Kenny?
I have not, I'm just looking at Tom's spreadsheet. I'm not looking at the actual report, but I guess if we're going to ask for the affidavits, we could ask for more clarity on his work descriptions for each of the 3 companies.
Okay.
How's that?
we want verification that those are licensed contractors, I guess regardless of where they're licensed.
Well, or,
Yeah,
yeah, pretty much. I don't know, MCO Wiring LLC, I don't know.
Yeah.
They are
I mean,
licensed.
Okay, cool.
And Unitron was a large communications company, and I believe they've been out of business for a number of years. But they were licensed also.
Great. Thank you. Okay, is there anything else we need to add on with regard to additional information we need from Kenny Smith? Okay, if not, go on to Mr. Kevin Bresnan, I guess?
Bresnahan.
Bresnahan, thank you.
I'm not real sure, I wanted to ask, Sherry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
This guy already, he's had a license for years. What are we doing with him?
Kevin has? Let me
I thought he was licensed.
look. I think we have a Bresnahan, but I'm not sure. Let me look.
Is he the one where the license, he has to be, deactivated and everything in that? Now he wants it to be activated again?
yeah, it looks like
Thank-
I'm looking at a letter. If you look in his file, there's a letter to board that says that he wants his license activated so that he'll be the license holder for RJP Electric. So it must be
Okay.
currently deactivated.
I don't
And he's
have
got
a Kevin Bresnahan at all. So we've never issued him a license number.
We've got, there's a letter in his file from us that says he passed and he's qualified.
Yeah, so it looks like he's just never enabled it or activated
Okay.
it. So he was never issued a license. So he's not in Acela with a license number.
No, but he doesn't, I guess what I'm saying, a previous board has already approved him. He's taken the test and passed the test. Correct? Well, yeah, that would be correct.
Yes.
I wrote
Yeah,
that,
so
I should know
it
it.
was, he was just from so long ago that I think he needed to,
an updated class.
yeah,
Well, and he's
He said- I
been
think he
working
said
for
that-
RJP.
I think his code classes is current from what I saw in the
here's his-
files.
Here's the license. Looking to see if I could find out where his code class file, where his information on code class was.
I think it was either with, it might have been with the community college, or from my memory serves me, it may be from the one of the electrical associations here. Okay, we'll associate it with local one and that.
There's a 2023 significant code changes class from electrical connection. And yeah, it looks like that's the only one I can find within a 2-year window. Is that valid, just doing the significant changes class?
Well, if for a non-voting opinion, I look at him a little different only because he's already passed the test. He went through all of these hoops before. Now it's just a matter that he's been inactive. With my memory of what's in the ordinance, if he's been actively engaged in a trade, he's treated a little differently than if he went into a different line of work. He's been with RJP for a long time, as far as I know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you think he should take a code class, we would certainly let him know that.
I'm not the electric guy, but I would be fine giving him his license. or activating it.
Yeah,
I would be
do
fine
it.
activating it, but one of the things that just goes back to Rick again is that if the man is on site, kind of managing things, but yet he's working with the electricians doing electrical work. Okay, I guess one of the things is that one of my brother-in-laws was a sprinkler fitter, but he was like a working foreman. He was there doing the exact work that all the other guys were doing. So, I mean, that's called a working foreman. I guess one of the things that for Rick to clarify, is that appropriate? Is that okay to consider it as part of the working hours?
Well, he submitted his trade working hours when he was approved by the board the first time.
Right.
In here, you've got
I don't think it's
he can-
experience. I think it's a matter of code class, and he has the initial one, and he has submitted to us an update. He's taken an update class every code cycle since his initial code class. So, and been actively engaged in the trade this whole period of time. So, based upon that, I would I'd activate him for RJP.
Kenny was a wireman. His apprenticeship stuff is in his
Yeah.
file.
And again, we've already at one time approved him as a license holder. He just never activated his license. And given the fact that he's had a code update class every time and he's been actively engaged in the business the whole time, I'd vote to activate his license on behalf of RJP.
I could agree with that.
Okay, anybody else? Sherry, I'm not taking notes on the thing this time, so I hope you are.
I am, Rick normally does better notes. I normally
Okay.
do like little scratchy notes. So,
All right.
Yeah, I'm jotting down what I think
Okay.
we need. So between Sherry and I, we will get it right.
Awesome. I figured. Okay. Well, should we go on to Michael Brenke? We'll continue the butchering of names.
Brennicky,
Brenke? There we go.
I knew a Brennicky, so Brennicky, yeah.
This was a good example of somebody that submitted a lot of documents they didn't need to. Not only W-2s, the explanation of the W-2s was attached.
Bob, is there anything you want to look at in that file?
I mean, I'm just looking at Tom's handiwork. So it looks like he has the affidavits there. So Tom's question was, is the Air Force Tech School applicable? But I mean, if he
I
has
don't know
his
that we would
12,000
need it
hours,
for tech school if he's got 54,000 hours with AT&T.
yeah, he doesn't need anything beyond that 12,000 hours.
I have to step
Do we
away.
have a,
I'll be right back. My hearing aid battery just conked out.
oh, good job. Do we have adequate explanation of his experience at AT&T?
Well, you're looking his work experience is wiring and installation. So, I mean, I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
I think he's green lighted from my perspective.
All right. Tom,
good.
John, anything?
Looks good there.
Okay.
Was that Bernicky?
All right. Yes.
Yeah,
So approving his application.
I'm sorry, approving?
yes.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. Russell Yules?
Oh, affidavits. Damn him.
All right, I
Well, Mr.
somehow,
Mr. Russell has, he didn't have a code class evidence in there and that. He may have had some nice hours there and everything, but he can't do anything with no affidavits and everything and that. And no W-2 forms were submitted.
okay, so
We had
Based upon
paycheck
his-
summaries, but that doesn't do anything.
He actually submitted pay stubs, which there's a lot of people that I pay that don't make him my employee. That's the first time I've,
so our direction to him would be that we need him to submit his hold on, let me get back to the spreadsheet. Would need a code class, needs to submit affidavits and you know, whatever other evidence of his experience so that
These
we
W-2
could,
forms.
yeah, well, and I don't need, yeah, I mean, the W-2s would be good, but he's got to, yeah, I mean, we
I
need.
do see an affidavit
hours
in here, but
before-
There is an
He signed the
affidavit.
it's not from the three employers. It's like he just came up with the affidavit and
Yeah.
it's
I-
like signing
so-
your own
so-
affidavit.
Yeah, so we need him to submit his evidence of his applicable experience and to complete a code class. And I guess if he wants to submit his experience before he goes through a code class, we could review it for him and tell him whether or not that experience is applicable for the license, so he doesn't take a 24-week code class.
this fellow's got an address in Idaho? I just,
Yeah, or it's right.
why would anyone leave a beautiful state like Idaho to come here?
That's a good question.
I don't know. It's pretty nice out today.
That's true.
Well, the weather's
Probably
nice. I don't know about the
Yeah.
people.
Okay, so
I'm not being
you want
shot
to go
at
on to
today.
Mr. Cohen?
This was another one that confused me. Sherry, this fella says he's got license CO 654. What are we doing to this guy?
Brian Cohen?
Yeah,
What'd you say the number was?
That he worked under that supervision of zero,
oh,
C
okay, never mind.
0654.
Okay,
I read that wrong. He cited a license number of Robert Farb,
okay.
whom I don't know, but he didn't submit like if he's going in for a license, he didn't really submit anything we need.
Well, he sent in an affidavit from West Coast Security, but the work description isn't clear whether he's really just supervising or working with the tools. So that needs more clarification.
Yeah, but one W-2,
He emailed me yesterday too to make sure we were reviewing him today.
wish he would have joined the meeting. It would be good to hear from him.
Well, a good start would be submitting an actual application, right? I don't see one in here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would just, I mean, I'd send him I would let him know that we need, better information with regard to his experience so that we could verify it. And an application would also be great. We also don't know who he's applying for his license, or is he applying for one on behalf of a company?
After looking at the thickness of these files, I appreciate that we didn't get much from him, but he could have been a little more.
Yeah, it might be a little light for what we would generally. Okay, I think we've reviewed everyone. Is there any other old business we need to cover?
None, from my standpoint.
Okay, any new business? No? Okay, housekeeping, this is the one housekeeping item is I would ask, would IT send us meeting invites? Because this was not on my calendar, probably because I had scheduled the previous ones, and so I'd sent out calendar invites. But it would be super helpful if IT would just send us calendar invites for the future meetings, and maybe they could go ahead and send them to us for all of 2024 so that the time set aside.
And also, I guess one thing that one of the meeting agendas, the webinar link that was on there did not work. So that's why I had to come in from the St. Louis County website. It came in real quick from the St. Louis County website without any problem and everything.
Yeah. And again, like maybe if we had a calendar invite to hold the time, and then if we needed a updated one that included the meeting information, because I'm assuming they're not publishing like the web link a year in advance, but those would be, that would be helpful to me.
You want to keep the meetings at 1 o'clock on Thursdays? Is that okay with everybody?
Does
we can
anybody
do
have
that.
an issue with time? It's good for next year? Okay, so our next meeting would be January?
And I'll still make up the
Okay.
spreadsheet for you and everything.
God,
Seems
I tell you
Seems to go faster.
Yeah.
we super
Thank you,
appreciate
Tom.
that. It makes it easier too to have that up. In fact, I'll stop sharing that.
Looks like January the 18th.
Okay, great.
Is that right, Sherry?
So
It is, yep.
awesome. Okay, so given that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, well, everybody have a very happy Thanksgiving and
You too.
holiday season. Everybody
Thank you.
January.
You as well.
All righty.
Happy holidays. Thank you.
Bye.